I was made for loving you. Where on earth is Reverend Leslie going to go with this one? I'm going to start by talking about our granddaughter, Ellie, because that's always a good idea. This is not her. This is a stock photo. But Ellie is really into magnetiles right now. And magnetile is a building block situation that has their plastic sheets, and some of them are see-through and some of them aren't, and they have magnets built into the structure of the blocks. So she can pile them and they snap into positions. She can build really big things. And you know, Ellie is, as she likes to say, this many. She's this many. So having the magnets really helps her get her little engineer brain going because she doesn't have to balance them perfectly. They snap into position because that's how the magnetiles were made. They were constructed with those magnets built right into them. And we are the same. As humans, we are built out of divine substance. We like to say that God is all there is. God, love, spirit, the universe, juju, whatever your preferred word is, just fill that in when I'm talking. But this immenseness, this transcendence is also immanent. It dwells inside of each one of us, and it built us, each and every one, yes, even the one that's popping up in your mind, like, maybe not that one too, is all made of this divine substance. And inherently, that love that is the divine is built into each one of us, like we are magnetiles. Now, Ellie could try all day long to have two magnetiles lay next to each other and not click together. But will it work? No, because the magnets are inherent to the toy. Just like that divine love, that capital L love that we like to talk about, is built into us. And that is what this talk is about. I was made for loving you. Or more perfectly, I was made for loving, that we each were. We're literally built of it. And how we interact with the world is directly related to how we interact with that divine love within ourselves. Are we seeing it? Are we claiming it? Are we building that muscle of interacting with that love on the inside of ourselves? Or are we pushing it away? Are we ignoring it? Are we doubting it? Are we forgetting about it? We know that we've cultivated deep love within when we feel ourselves expressing compassion outward, empathy, understanding, or even the willingness to stay in the curious question. We know we're forgetting to cultivate it when we're in the no, when we're in the blaming. It's their fault. They did it. Why don't they just think like me? The whole world would work so much better if they all just thought and acted like me all the time. We'd get a lot more Taylor Swift in the opening songs. The responses to what we see out in the world, and there has been some stuff to respond to out there, right? No matter what your beliefs are, no matter what your political spin, no matter what religion of origin you come from, no matter what's going on in your family, there's something to react to. And this week has felt kind of hot for me, but a lot of weeks lately have felt kind of hot for me. And the interesting thing is, the world out there hasn't changed one bit from last month. Just as many things went wrong and just as many things went right as any other week. Unless you're a Knicks fan. And we're just going to let them have their party. Nurturing the love within us transforms us. It transforms how we show up when we bump against something that doesn't feel quite so comfy. And that takes us to the part of all of this that can be really challenging. We have this idea, maybe you don't, but I have had this idea, and I have a feeling it's fairly universal, that you know it's love when everything's easy, when it just falls together, and everything's copacetic, and we agree on everything. My new best friend, my new beloved, we agree on everything. Maybe for the first 15 minutes. Maybe in the limerence stage, when everything is heart eyeglasses and rose-tinted windows. But love can be messy. Love can be uncomfortable. Love can be hard. When we're talking about that lowercase out in the world with other humans love, we can forget that back of that interpersonal love that we feel is this infinite presence of the divine that is so huge, so full, so complete, that it's literally what we're built of. And that we lean into that divine love to carry us forward as we do our lowercase human love experience. And often, when we can lean into that divine love, we are able to tap into a capacity within ourselves to stay in the difficult conversation. Here's the thing. That world that keeps changing. Oh, see, Mike, it's a good thing you got me that water. That world that keeps changing, except it doesn't change. Like the players change, the immediate events change, but the world keeps turning and bringing new events. That world is calling us to stay in the difficult conversations. Every piece of progress we've ever made as a culture has come from having hard conversations, staying in the discomfort, digging into a change on the inside of ourselves that requires us to be outside of our zone of ease. If we are comfortable all the time, friends, we aren't getting anywhere. It's lovely, sure, for a little bit, but then life gets boring and stagnant. No relationship thrives when we are all comfortable. It's not a thing that we can do as humans, because just like those little magnets in the magnetiles, the love in us, the divine love in us, it's got a chain attached to our heart chakra, and it is pulling us forward. We come together every week and we talk about revealing the power of love, and we talk about the CSL global vision of creating a world that works for everyone. And oh my gosh, was I startled to realize my idea of a perfect world does not necessarily match up with our friends in Ukraine or our friends in South Africa. They have a completely different idea. Our friends that are Muslim, our friends that are Catholic. Everywhere we look, because the vision is not a household that works for everyone. And even if it were, if you can believe it, there's a hole smoking 2 people that live in my house, and we are not 100% in agreement 100% of the time. What's that about? And I'm willing to bet the same is true at your house. Choosing vulnerability, keeping our hearts open, staying in the situation that doesn't feel like it's working long enough to understand what we're being called to do. And how do we tune into what we're being called to do? We do our daily, substantial, spiritual practice. Oh, you guys are so well trained. I love that. I love that. Tapping into that practice helps us clue into when is mine to stay, when is mine to go, when is mine to shift, when is mine to shut my mouth and listen. Ooh, that's a hard one for me. I really like the sound of my own voice. This is not a surprise to y'all. This is not a surprise. When we lean into those challenges, though, when we let divine love back of us hold us up as we lean into those challenges, what we discover is that our capacity for love is far more vast than we tend to believe. We are more powerful than we tend to believe. We are more loving, more kind, more creative. We are, frankly, more interesting than we tend to believe. Because it's never just us. It's never just Leslie, physical form, lots of knitting, lots of pop music, lots of dogs. All of that is true. All of that is true. Key parts of who I am. But even deeper than Leslie as minister, Leslie as lover of science of mind, even deeper than that is my actual truth, which is God in unique form in this particular way, where Spirit said, I'm going to show up as a bouncy, vibrant goofball and see how that brings more love into the world. And I'm going to give her everything she needs to be the fullest, most powerful, most exuberant, most brilliant version of God as Leslie possible on this planet. And isn't that going to be fun? It's fun, right? And the absolute same exact thing is happening for you right now. The divine as Penny, as Glenda, as Sid, the divine as Bobby, no matter how many times I joke about him in service, and Mark, and Reverend Karen Russo, and Henry, and every single one of us. And the divine is having a good old time seeing how this game it's playing of taking divine love, popping it into a physical body, and sending us out to the universe, how it is, in fact, creating a world that works for everyone. That's the truth. But we only really get to find that out when we come up against that barrier of comfort, where we say, oh, I love everyone, I love everything, oh, but maybe not that. Maybe not them. Maybe not in this situation. When we hit that barrier and we decide to say, no, I know the truth. I know the truth of who I am and whose I am and how I came to be here and what is inside me holding me up so that I can stay in this conversation about, for example, radical inclusivity at New Vision Center. I can stay in the discomfort of hearing about the times we have missed the mark with our high intention of being completely, fully inclusive. I can hear people say, I don't think your ministers did a very good job. Ooh, but you know what? That's love. Telling the truth is love. Staying and hearing the uncomfortable truth is love. Because what comes after when we tell the truth? We get to learn how to do it better, more fully. We get to learn how to equip people with information they need to do it more fully and better. That is love in action. That is revealing the power of love. So we stay in the hard stuff. Whether it's our beloved saying, you know, when you say that, it makes me feel small. Ooh, it's hard to hear when we've made someone feel small. But we are strong enough, big enough, loving enough to feel into, is it mine to change? Is it mine to transform? And then the miraculous happens. Because here's the real miracle. Are you ready? We can lean in a little. Here's the real miracle. We don't change anything. Our human selves don't change a darn thing. The divine within us transforms us. And without even realizing it, one day we notice, hey, that thing I used to say that drove my sister crazy, I don't even think to say that anymore. I'm not holding on to that old grudge from 3rd grade. Sandy Cornelius can walk in peace. Bless her heart, wherever she is. Oh, how different is that? But if we'll only stay in our comfort, we're shutting the doors of our heart to the possibility of transformation. And how are we going to make a world that works for everyone if we aren't willing to transform into someone who walks in that space of making space for everyone? It's not possible. It's not possible. And so we do what we do with the impossible. We give it over to the divine, or as I like to say, we give God homework. This isn't mine to hold, Spirit. You have it. This isn't mine to change, Spirit. You change it. I love that we're using Use Me, Ricky Beckwith's song, Use Me, this month as our opening song. Use me. Oh God, I stand for you, for the divine, and here I abide. Here I will just stand until you show me all that I must do. And then what do? We do what we have been shown. That is higher, deeper love. That is how we do this thing. Love is not just that feeling. You know the feeling? You know the feeling? When you call your best friend, you're like, oh my God, the person that I met, and we held hands. And it was so awesome. I think I love her. I think I love him. I think I love them. I hope they ask me out again. We'll have to get together and pick out my outfit. But not too sexy because it's only a second date. That is so real. We've all felt it. We felt it for a romantic beloved. We felt it for a friend. We felt it for a new hobby or task or job or a piece of information. There are certain pieces of information that will really, like a really good quote, that'll get me going for days. My apologies to the people who are around me when I've just learned another really good quote. Or a new word, ooh, I can have a lot of love for a new word. But that thing called love that shows up so easily, bursts out of us like a butterfly just waiting to be born. It also, in addition to that fleeting emotion, it also is active. It's dynamic. It requires movement of us. It requires activity of us. Or what happens to a butterfly if it doesn't have sustenance? It'll die. That's why we have milkweed in the meditation garden, to feed the butterflies. That's why we have spiritual practice in our own worlds, to feed our hearts, to feed our capacity to show that love. It's an active, conscious choice, daily, sometimes hourly, depending who you're with, sometimes minutely, to stay in the place of love, to lean into. I imagine divine love as an infinite wall behind me that I can just rest into and know that it's got me. I will not fall. I cannot be harmed. I am made of this thing called love. You are made of this thing called love. And that ongoing commitment cultivates a deeper relationship with the one, an easier access to that divine love that lives right where we are. It takes our inner transformation and takes it outward. And it starts to open it up to all of the people we interact with, whether they know we're practicing science of mind or not. And guess what? It doesn't matter if they know. It doesn't matter where they go on Sunday, whether it's a church or a hiking trail or a temple. It doesn't matter. None of that matters when it comes to loving out in the world. What matters is taking what we've learned, what we've allowed in from the divine that's just been inviting us with every breath the whole time we've been alive, to be it out there. And it starts transforming our collective experience. We were made for this. We were built for it. Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching Science of Mind, said this about it. Love begets love and tolerance. And the tolerance begets understanding, which is being able to put oneself in the other person's place and see why they act as they act and why they do what they do. Thus, love can create a better world in which to live. It is the one power which can and must bring peace to a changing world. He said that 65 years ago. It was published in the Science of Mind magazine in 1975, 20 years later, the year I was born. And guess what? The world is still changing. The world still needs peace. The world still needs us to stand in enough love that we can find tolerance, and then enough tolerance that we can begin to understand and to be curious and to find out whether we're watching a different news channel than usual, talking to a family member that we tend to struggle with, or just out in the world and bump into something that pushes against our boundary of comfort. And so here is the invitation, if you are down for it. Anybody down for an invitation? To ask ourselves at least once every day for this week, how actively am I showing up as love in the world? How actively am I showing up as love in the world? And then to check in on that question again at the end of the day. How actively did I show up as love in the world today? It just takes conscious intention. Margaret Mead said, and this is a paraphrase, never doubt that a small group of concerned citizens can change the world. In fact, that is the only way the world has ever been changed. I am up for the challenge. Are you up for the challenge? Let's do it. And so it is. Let's take this into some prayer. Really lock it in. How good it is to remember that Infinite Spirit is right where I am, right where each individual being everywhere on the planet is, because it is all that there is. And it has created every person, place, thing, situation, relationship, and unfoldment out of its own substance, which is inherently unconditional, pure, and perfect love. How good it is to remember that each of us has the conscious capacity to decide to tap into that love and to spread it all around, to walk out our vision of revealing the power of love, to walk out the CSL global vision of creating a world that works for everyone, to be that place of safe landing for those who are struggling, to be that place of staying in the challenge so that love can be revealed. How good it is to know that none of us do it alone, that Spirit is the one that transforms each on the inside enough that we can live that truth on the outside. How grateful I am to know that every single concern or issue that was carried into this time together on hearts, on minds, is already being met with the Spirit that says, yes, 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 that too. All of it is for each one of us. That there is nothing outside of our field of possibility, that there is nothing outside our expansive capacity for healing. And so I just rest in the gratitude, knowing the truth for each one. Like God is good, God is here, God is now. This is the transformation. And I let it be, releasing it into the action of universal law, which always says yes. And we claim it together as we say, and so it is.